Chicago.
Hello, I'm Joseph Amari. Welcome to another episode of Bridging Chicago. You can find the Bridging Chicago podcast by going to www.bridgingchicago.com, by visiting our Instagram and Twitter, where our handle is @bridgingchicago.com, or by following us on LinkedIn. Today, I am joined by Jennifer Prell, the president and founder of Elderwerks, a nonprofit dedicated to helping find assisted living, and other elder care solutions. Jennifer, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks, Joe. I'm excited to be here.
So, Jennifer, tell me a little bit about your background. You're from Chicago originally?
Actually, I was raised in Kansas because, we all have to have interesting backgrounds. Mine's
Uh,
Kansas. It's a great place to grow up. But yes, I was raised in Kansas, moved to Hoffman Estates, Illinois, and raised my babies in Cary, Illinois. So yeah, we've been there most of our lives.
oh,
So yeah, love Illinois.
and so you were in Illinois for quite some time.
Yes.
And when you were in Illinois, you started Paxum Inc. Is that correct?
Yes, my first endeavor in starting my own organization was Paxum, and Paxum is a A+ accredited senior move management company. I started with the idea of helping older adults and seniors pack and move and
Hmm.
get organized, and it grew into a much larger organization. I started with me and one person.
Hmm.
I think our first year of sales was $7,000, which is, as you know, not enough to live on. And almost 20 years later, we have 35 employees, three divisions, and help, younger folks as well as older adults who have stuff. We don't help newlyweds typically because they don't own anything.
So, what was your motivation in wanting to get into this space? Did you have any personal experience that led you there?
Um, I have, I'm kind of OCD.
Hmm.
So I took my annoying habits like organizing, cleaning, and decluttering and turned it into my fun job. It's my favorite thing to do. Getting things streamlined and contained is kind of important in my world. So helping other people do it who aren't able to do it is very satisfying. We also help a lot of people with disabilities. So if you're not able to pack a box, how are you going to move?
Hmm.
So we do a lot of good in the world in Illinois.
Absolutely. And so that's the mission of Paxum. Is that the same mission of Elderworks as well?
Nope, Elderworks is a not-for-profit 501(c)(3). And what we do at Elderworks is we help seniors, older adults, and families with senior living coordination, advocacy, and education. What that means is we're senior guidance advisors.
Hmm.
So if someone was looking for anything senior or any type of help or had a question about aging, they can contact Elderworks and we offer complimentary assistance. So there's never a fee for our services.
Hmm. And so when someone reaches out to you, what can they expect in the process?
Typically, what happens is when they call Elderworks, they'll be taken care of initially by our receptionist, who does a little bit of intake to find out what kind of needs they have. If it's something simple, they can give them the information right there on the phone. If it's more in depth, they're looking for help for their mom, their dad, or they're looking for any type of senior living, then they're moved to the advising team. So depending on who they are, they could go to our social services expert. They can go to one of our senior living advisors. We are experts in all of the senior communities in Illinois. So we try to make sure that the older adult or senior who is moving is their needs are met, but most importantly, their whole person is met. So it's not just about living in an apartment, right?
Hmm.
Like who can just live in an apartment and live there? You don't. You hang with people, you meet people. It's really boring living in a box. So we want to make sure that all of the activities they're interested in and the people that are their people live with them. And that they're social as they want, and they are safe and they thrive. Thriving is important. As children, we'd run around and play all day, right? And we're very social and we meet people and we're not scared of meeting people because we're kids.
Hmm.
Well, as you age, you kind of get a little jaded, right? Because we've been burned fair before with things. Life happens. And so it's a little harder to make friends and it's a little harder to be social sometimes. So we want to make sure that wherever you do move, you feel welcome. You
Hmm.
feel like you belong and that they're your people. right?
Absolutely. And so, what kind of events or like community-based programs do you guys participate or host?
Oh gosh. Elderworks, we put on about 300 continuing eds a year for
Oh
professionals,
wow.
nurses, social workers, nursing home administrators. It's all education on aging topics. And then for the community based education, we have support groups, we have a caregiver support group, we have a book club, we have stepping out for fitness to get people active while staying home or whatever. We also just put together our 2022 Aging Better Expo, which is in August on the 31st at the Tripon Center in Hoffman Estates. This is, I think, our seventh annual expo. The last two were virtual, which was really a bummer because I like my people.
Hmm.
And so this year we're doing a hybrid where you can attend the Tripon Center Aging Better Expo and go see 100 resource booths, get some free donuts, free coffee, free lunch, meet lots of other folks and be social. Or you can watch the live stream. So for those who can't get out or aren't comfortable getting out, they can also watch the live stream.
Absolutely. It sounds like
So
that's a great resource. You said the Aging Better Expo.
yes, it's the Aging Better Expo. It's a free event. It's funded by our sponsors. We have, gosh, I don't even know how many sponsors. We have 100 resource booths. Humana and Madigan Insurance Group are the platinum sponsors. I have to mention them because otherwise we couldn't put on this event. It's, as you know, not inexpensive. So they're very important. The Daily Herald is our media sponsor, so they're helping us get the word out that way through print advertising and online advertising. That is not my fun thing, let me tell you. Um, I much would rather just go and play and have fun with my seniors than all the background stuff, the
Mhm.
young people like. So I'm more of a senior at heart, I think.
Mhm.
So
And so you mentioned a bit about education. What type of topics do you normally talk about in the educational seminars?
Elderworks at the expo, we're going to be talking about health. We're talking about the legal aspects of aging, finances, insurance questions. They're very good seminars. We have 12 excellent speakers from all over Illinois who are professionals in their arena, and they're very good. We talk about what to do when you have someone with memory loss or how to choose where to live, if it's staying home or moving. What do you want? Things like that. Starting the conversation's the biggest reason we have this expo. We put on all of these seminars and we have these resource booths because they are the experts. And when you are trying to plan on aging well, you can't just plan on retiring, right? Everyone plans
Mhm.
on the money. I have money to retire. Okay, cool. Now what? So you've retired, you have money. What happens if something happens? Did you plan on the legal side? Did you have power of attorney for healthcare and property, which is very important? Do you have a living will? Do you have a trust? And as you know, you're an attorney. You know the legal side is hugely important.
Absolutely.
And then on the health side, if you're not healthy, how are you going to age well? Right? If you're eating McDonald's hamburgers every day, I shouldn't say that out loud, but if you are every day, I can tell you right now, you're not a healthy senior.
Right.
So nutrition, we have some nutritional informational boosts, and we put on nutrition classes at Elderworks, all sorts of things. And then we have fitness classes. We have some fitness experts on site. We have Advocate. Aurora Medical Group is going to be on site as well. They're one of our sponsors, and they're talking about health, of course, because it's important. It's not just aging with money; it's aging with your health, with a positive outlook on life, and something to do,
Mhm.
right? You can't just retire and say, I'm going to travel the world. Well, that gets boring. you know, you need to still have your friends and family and your support system in place.
Mhm.
So, lots of fun things.
Absolutely. And when you're talking about these health aspects, I think it's so important because, like you said, it makes such an important impact on their quality of life to be not only aging comfortably financially, but aging in a way that they can be active and enjoy the things that they're used to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's one of the questions we ask. What did you used to do? What do you do now? And what would you like to still do?
Hmm.
Those are important things to know. So, for instance, we'll just take me, for example. I'm not a senior yet, but if I were, I would need an active place because I'm very energetic.
Uh-huh.
I would need a lot of people to hang with. I'd need really good food. I'd need a lot of socialization in a suburban setting because I like grass and trees and birds and things like that. But not everybody's like that. Some people would prefer a sedate place,
Mm,
more of an urban setting. They like a lot of people, but they want to stay in their apartment more often than not. That's their choice. You
mhm.
just have to figure out what's best for you.
Absolutely. And when you're working with Elderworks, how do you work with caregivers to also help them provide the resources that they need?
Well, caregivers are saints. I'll tell you right now, it is it's not easy being a caregiver. There's a few different types of caregivers. You have your family caregiver, which is usually a spouse or your adult child. That's the most stressful job on earth. It's like being a parent all over again, and it depends on the person you're caring for and their medical and physical limitations.
Mhm,
And then there's the professional caregiver who's paid to help take care of you and the expectations from them. So it really depends on who they are and what their needs are. We do a lot of education for caregivers. We have
mhm.
support groups for family caregivers, and then we have professional education for professional caregivers. We just started an organization because, I was bored. Just kidding. It's called Dementia Reality. So, in collaboration with CJA Senior Life, Elderworks put together this new organization, which is a not for profit educational arm. And what's really neat is we teach all about dementia and personhood using virtual reality technology. It
Oh,
is
okay.
really cool. Yeah, you would love that.
Yes.
It is all about experiencing what a person with dementia experiences, and then you're also third party looking in a CNA taking care of a person with dementia so you can see the wrong way and then you can see the correct way of taking care of someone. It's really neat.
Mhm.
So that's our new fun educational piece we're working on. But I love education. We're huge advocates of education.
Absolutely.
The more you know.
And so, speaking on that topic of assisting individuals with dementia, what kind of advice do you give their caregivers or their family in like trying to help them be a bit more understanding in those situations?
Know your limitations and ask for help. If
Mhm.
someone offers help, take the help. Be greedy with the help because you will burn out. A lot of people think it's their job. Uh, I could never be a caregiver. I'm not that empathetic. I love humans and I love to help them, but I can't be that person. So I know I have that limitation. And understand that that person with dementia is where they're at in their world and you need to be there too. You can't say, "Well, you're no longer 17 or 25. You're this age," and you can't repeat that. They don't understand. So whatever or wherever they are in their life is where you need to be as well for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and yeah, for sure. And hire help as needed,
Mhm.
you know.
Yes,
Yeah,
like they say, it takes a village sometimes.
all the time. All the time.
So,
And never say no.
so more generally, how do you help people stay positive if a senior is dealing with health issues?
Well, it is very difficult when you are going through a health crisis to maintain the happy factor, right? You can't go out in life and always be happy. It's just not how it is.
Mhm.
Um, what I would say is accept the help offered to you as much as you're able to, and try to remember that the people around you are just trying to help you as well.
Right.
It's
Right.
not just about the caregiver; it's about the person you're caring for. So it is difficult. There's palliative care, which can help people with pain management and such. And for the caregiver, if it's getting to be much and such, you need to learn to take a respite, take a short break, get someone in to help while you go get a spa day, go to the grocery store, go read a book, sit in your car and just breathe, whatever you need to do. And remember to always have boundaries
Mhm.
and not let people push it. We've had families, well, we've had lots of families. We've helped thousands of people, but some of the most memorable are, we have the son in California who's calling his sister saying, I don't know why you think it's so hard taking care of mom. She's fine.
Mhm.
I talk to her all the time on the phone and she's fine. You're making this stuff up. And then he
Oh,
and then he tells her how to take care of mom. And I'm like, yeah, I like that. That's a good idea. I want to live in another state and just tell people what to do.
mhm.
At that point, you need to put up a boundary and say, I'm sorry, I can't talk to you at this moment. I'm in the middle of this, this, and this. And if they keep it up, invite them over to help.
Right.
Or say, mom can come live with you for 6 months and see how that goes. Share the caregiving tasks.
So when I was like 13, 14, my grandma started to, have a little bit difficulty taking care of her home. She lived in Cicero, and she found it a little more difficult to do all the housekeeping and upkeep. And so I remember my mom and my aunt were, going over there fairly regularly, kind of, as you said, splitting the, help and giving care. And one thing I remember distinctly was it was tough for her to admit to herself that, she'd kind of taken a step back in terms of being able to, upkeep the house and, the things that she was used to. What kind of, situation or advice do you give to people when they're dealing with a parent where they're seeing, okay, maybe this is a little bit more than I'm able to keep up with?
Yeah, losing your independence as we age, it's not easy admitting you need help. Like I said, accepting help is hard.
Hmm.
I cannot accept help. Trust me, I'm the worst. What I can tell you is that there are support services in place to help people like this. So, for instance, for your grandmother, was it?
Hmm.
Your mom and then your aunt can help care for the house and the home and your grandmother as much as humanly possible. But if they're getting tired and they need some help, your grandmother, if she is on restricted income, there's social service agencies who will send a caregiver to assist. They might even send a housekeeper to assist. If she or her husband were a veteran, there are new caregiver support benefits for people like her. So there is hope for other
Hmm.
people to assist as well. So it's not on the shoulders of the daughter or the adult children. There are professional caregivers and such out there that will help for
Absolutely.
sure.
And so you said that there are resources for those that feel they don't have the financial resources to care for their aging families. Is like social services.
Yes, it depends where you live in the state. Every county is different. For instance, Cook County uses Catholic Charities for their assistance through like the Age Guide. Age Guide is the social service that helps fund them, if you will.
Hmm.
So Catholic Charities, Senior Service Associates, those groups are the ones that would interview the person, figure out what their needs are, make sure they're income qualified, and then put services in place. Now, if you make too much money, if you make a dollar too much or more, you can't get services. So it's really important to plan for your future and protect your assets as much as possible. That's why we're always saying put your money in trust if you have it, put your house in trust, protect yourself. But social services are wonderful. There's also nutritional projects. You can get discounts on your electricity, on your utility bills. You can get discounts for transportation. There's all sorts of ways to help people that are on restricted incomes. Yes, and it's
Absolutely.
not easy at all, but it is available.
Sure, but it's wonderful to hear that you provide those resources. I think that that's something that, we're all going to face these issues at some point with our family and ourselves. So having it out there is a great social service that you're providing.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
you, when you advocate at a legislative level, what kind of approach do you take to implementing policy that assists with these issues?
Oh gosh. We do talk to local politicians and representatives. We don't go higher than that because we're just a small organization. We're also not politically motivated. We're human
Hmm.
motivated. So we don't really have the power to sway anything other than we can get seniors to vote um, by discussing the topic. So, for instance, if there's a large 55 and over community, which there are many in Illinois, we discuss the issues that are at hand, such as there's not enough nutritional projects in Illinois to keep our seniors fed.
Hmm.
Um, there's limited income. Age Guide does go to the legislators and tries to sway them to put more money into the coffers to help those folks. That is where we would go. Age Options and Age Guide are my go-to people. Age Options does more of the Cook County, suburban Cook areas, whereas Age Guide is in the Northwest.
You were saying though the age guide group.
Yes. Age Guide of North, what is it? It's Age Guide Northeast Illinois.
Hmm.
Um, they fund all of the smaller charities and not-for-profits so that the seniors are taken care of, and other organizations, but mostly they focus on seniors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And how has COVID changed the face of senior care?
Oh gosh, COVID is a nasty, nasty word at this point, isn't it? 2
Mm,
years plus now of a scary world. Well, when COVID hit, everybody turned into a cocoon, including Elderworks. We never closed. That's one thing we didn't do. We're the only social service around us that never closed. We did limit our people walking in the door, but our
mhm.
phones were answered 24/7. That didn't change. What did change is the older adults and seniors said, "I am not moving. I am staying home." And the problem with that is they died. They didn't get
Oh,
the care they needed. They didn't go get their wellness checks. They didn't go get their cardiac checks. They didn't do anything they were supposed to do, which is what you're supposed to do as you age is to make sure you're healthy. Every year, see your doctor, do what your doctor says. Well, they weren't doing it. So we lost a lot of really good people during COVID, not just because they got COVID and died, but because of the comorbidities during COVID. And year two, it got better. Folks folks are doing better at getting out, but it is mostly crisis. The last 2.5 years, we've been working on a lot of crises versus planning.
mm,
Independent living, apartments, slight assisted living. They're staying home, and it's unfortunate because they're missing out on a lot of fun. And the families were really worried that they weren't going to be social and they weren't going to be seen. So they pulled parents out of these communities and they basically kept them home. Well, they're not getting socialization then. In a senior community, you're getting breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so you get 3 touches, plus they're bringing in activities.
mhm.
They've learned a lot in the last 2 years. They brought in a lot of electronic devices now so that they can keep in touch with their families. So it's a lot. It's I wanna say COVID was the worst thing on earth, but with
Mm,
every negative comes a positive, and the positive is we learned how to take care of our seniors better in larger settings. We learned how to protect our seniors better. When a senior community goes in lockdown, it's not to be a jerk to you. It's to
mm,
protect your mom and dad from getting sick. You should say hallelujah. Your parents are good, right?
right.
We get people who are like, oh no, they won't let me see my mom. Well, it's not that they won't let you see your mom. They just don't want your mom to die. That's a good thing. There's a lot of communities in the spring and the summer and early fall where you can go and sit outside or walk with them and do a lot of fun things like that. Winter is a little difficult because, snow and cold, but
Mm,
you will still have the opportunity to see your loved ones. And that's what people need to realize is they're not locked away. They're with other great adults that are taking care of them.
right, right. And
So,
as you said,
yeah.
like it's, I think that what we've all learned in the last few years is that we have to be adaptable, and even though there's been great challenges, like it's about coming together and overcoming them.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
what changes would you like to see overall in senior care, and how can people help with those?
Well, what I would love is a lot more affordable housing. I know people are like, "Oh no, I don't want affordable housing in my neighborhood." Seniors are quiet. They're the best kind of people to have in affordable housing because they have earned it. They're quiet folks. They're not racing cars down the street. It's just a nice building in your community that where they take care of folks. It's no big deal. I would also like to see some more memory care for low income folks. So, for instance, we have supportive living in Illinois. Supportive living is assisted living for seniors. And if you don't have enough money, you can go on Medicaid, which is a beautiful thing, as long as you don't have a lot of medical issues. All right. You have to be mostly well. Um, they had some test sites where they were doing memory care
Mm,
and accepting Medicaid in these supportive living facilities. We need more. We need a lot more of them because what happens is they're ending up in skilled nursing facilities. It's very expensive to take care of people in a skilled nursing facility. Okay, because you have
mhm,
doctors and nurses and CNAs and everybody's there, trying to do the best they can for people who need total care. Really, it's for the really sick and dying. Whereas if you just need some queuing, you need some medication reminders, or you need someone to remind you to go to breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you don't need to go to a skilled nursing facility for that. There's no
mhm.
dignity and respect in that. There's no reason they can't go into a memory care supportive living facility. So we need more. We need more
Mm.
affordable housing. We need more memory care facilities for lower income adults. We also need some higher quality skilled nursing facilities where uh, people are taken care of really, really well and they're held accountable. The problem is we don't have enough people to take care of people. We do
Mm.
not have enough caregivers, and that's across the state. We are getting emails every day asking for nurses and CNAs and anybody who's interested in working in our communities that we work with, and it's because of COVID. A
Mm.
lot of people left because it's scary.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's just an interesting world we live in.
Absolutely. And so, what are some things that young people could do to get involved and help out with the senior communities?
Oh gosh, seniors the best. Well, I'll tell you this: if you want to learn anything, talk to a senior.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be entertained? Talk to a senior. You want to be really entertained? Talk to a veteran senior. They're fun. they're they're a blast. I would like to see a lot more like a Montessori approach, kind of where high school, even junior high, you get these folks involved. They're just older. It doesn't mean they're not valuable. Their brains have so much content. You really need to get matched with someone. So if you really want to go into a specific profession such as architecture, meet a senior who was in architecture. Learn about all of that history. It'll help you in your job. And they'll teach you things you don't learn in school, like the real things that really happen. And you can try to avoid those pitfalls. It's a
Mm.
beautiful world, right? We value
Yeah,
our seniors. We need to do that again. We used to value our seniors. Hopefully, we still do. I do. I love them. So,
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, your
yeah.
body of work speaks for itself in that regard.
Thank you. I don't know. They're fun. Most of them
So,
are fun.
how can people connect with Elderworks and where can they go to learn about the Aging Better Expo or get tickets?
Well, Elderworks is based in Palatine. We're at 251 East Northwest Highway by the Ace Hardware in Palatine.
Mm-hmm.
We're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. You can stop in. You can get some free assistance there, pick up information, pick our 400-page directory up. We print a book for the state of Illinois on everything in Illinois, all local federal programming, and it's free. Come get one.
Mm.
Our website's available to anyone. We have tons of articles on there. If you are interested in going to the Aging Better Expo, we have all the information on our website as well, and that's elderworks.org, and it's all E's, so it's ELDERWERKS.org. Um, we don't bother people. We don't plant cookies on your computer. We do not capture your information, sell your information, or give out your information without you knowing. So that's very important. That is one thing that I would love for you guys to touch on with someone who's an expert is how to avoid those websites where they capture your information and they own you. That's what I'd like. It's it's bad. We have a lot of seniors who don't know and a lot of older adults who are trying to help seniors go on these websites and now they've captured their information and sending their information out to everyone and selling their information and it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
not protecting anybody.
And then targeting probably advertising directly
Oh
towards them.
yeah, yeah. All the scammers, they know who you are. Mhm.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you to all our listeners for tuning into this episode of the Bridging Chicago podcast. You can connect with us on Instagram and Twitter. Our handle is at Bridging Chicago. You can also find us on LinkedIn by searching Bridging Chicago or visiting www.bridgingchicago.com. And be sure to visit elderworks.org to find out more about Jennifer's work in senior care. Jennifer, again, thank you so much.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Bridging Chicago, as produced by the SATC Solutions Center. Nothing contained in this podcast shall constitute financial, investment, legal, and/or professional advice. No professional relationship of any kind is created between you and the podcast host or guest. You are urged to speak with your financial, investment, or legal advisors before making any investment or legal decisions. Furthermore, the opinions expressed in this podcast are not necessarily the opinions of SATC Solutions Center, SATC Law, or any of its employees. This podcast is created by the hosts and guests' individual capacities. All opinions on this podcast are or have been rendered based on specific facts, under certain conditions, and are subject to certain assumptions and may not and should not be used or relied upon for any other purpose, including, but not limited to, or use in or in connection with any investment purposes or legal proceeding.